In the first few minutes of her grand return to The View following a holiday hiatus, Whoopi Goldberg bid audiences a hearty good morning by painting a vivid picture involving President Joe Biden and human excrement. With the country still reeling from Biden's disastrous performance in his first 2024 election debate against Donald Trump, Goldberg once again took up perch in her moderator seat at the Hot Topics table to voice support for Biden, days after her co-hosts called for the 81-year-old to step down. "I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go. He had a bad night the first time he went out and debated with Kamala Harris, and everybody wanted him to quit then," the 68-year-old said. "He came back and said, you know what, I've got it, and he gave 4 years. I have poopy days all the time. I step in so much poo. You can't even imagine. Now, I'm not running the world, but I don't know anybody who doesn't step in stuff at some point." Goldberg clarified that, if Biden can't do what he needs to do for the second debate later this year, following his performance in June that saw him stumble over his words and trail off in the middle of statements, then she'll join any crew that says to get rid of him as a result. "Loyalty, to me, if you're doing the job, I might not like everything you're doing, I don't like it all, but I'm going to stand behind you like those guys stand behind the guy who should have been the person people were talking about saying, yeah, Biden had a bad day, but this guy couldn't tell the truth if it split his lip," Goldberg said. Goldberg's co-host, Alyssa Farah Griffin, who previously worked for Trump's communications team, reiterated her previously expressed frustrations with Biden's insistence on staying in the race. "I worry about his ability to beat Trump, and I do worry about his ability to serve 4 years, and I think, like Nancy Pelosi did, I think it's time to pass the baton to the next generation," Griffin told Goldberg, who clarified that Griffin was not being ageist by speaking about Biden's age. Still, Goldberg said, "You're not allowed to shift that way, because he's the person that we chose on the Democratic side. The way they do people when they say, you're not going to win, get out of the way, I'm not up for that. I believe you have the ability to do the job, and I'm going to stand by that," Goldberg continued before invoking the essence of fecal matter once again. "If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm willing to take that shot because, as I said, I'd rather all his teeth fell out and he pooped his pants and he had to roll across the street than choose a man who I know is out to destroy the country that I grew up believing in." Following sustained calls for Biden to drop out of the race from both Democrats and Republicans, Goldberg's fellow View co-host Ana Navarro slammed dissenters on social media amid the View's break. "Our airwaves are full of pundits and former Democratic elected officials, and one elected official and donors, whatever, anonymous sources talking to other outlets, calling on Joe Biden to step down," Navarro said last week in an Instagram video filmed on a beach. "Okay, you want Joe Biden to step down? That's fair. But, you know what? The guy has served our country his entire lifetime, since he was 28 years old, so I think he's earned the right to a little respect. You want him to step down? Why don't you call the FING White House? Why don't you call the campaign? Why don't you call the DNC? Call the head donor guy." Following the debate, Griffin also said on social media that Biden owes it to concerned voters to do a press conference to calm skepticism over his performance. "No script, no prompter, and take questions from press to assuage fears about his mental acuity," she suggested. "The fact that he hasn't yet is malpractice." New episodes of The View return Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.